bodies of a Swiss couple who went missing 75 years ago have been found on a melting glacier in the Alps.
Discoveries are happening every day, from the depths of the oceans to the far reaches of outer space. But today, we're about to embark on a journey that's truly out of this world. It's not every day that we get to unwrap the frozen presents that Mother Nature has hidden away in the icy heart of our planet. So, in this video, we're diving deep into the chilling unknown to unravel a story that's guaranteed to send shivers down your spine. Let's begin the countdown.
While gold miners were blasting a wall of permafrost, he knew it was more valuable than gold.
20. Mystery of the Swiss couple. In 1942, this mystery involved a Swiss couple named Marceline Dumoule, who was 40 years old and a shoemaker, and his wife Francine, who was 37 and a teacher. They set out to milk their cows, hanging out in another part of the mountains near their village, Chandeline. Now, it's important to note that this couple had 7 kids. Sadly, as they embarked on this journey, they vanished without anyone knowing where they went. Skip ahead to the year 2017, and something unexpected happened at a ski resort near La Diabla. Way up in the mountains, about 8,600 feet above their village, someone found the incredibly well-preserved bodies of Marceline and Francine Dumoulin. They were still dressed in clothes from World War II, which is pretty mind-boggling. Plus, they found some extra stuff, like a book and a watch, that helped prove it was them. The police in the canton of Valais did some DNA testing and confirmed that these were indeed the Dumoulin couple. This discovery finally gave some peace to their 2 daughters, who were still alive. It also ended years of not knowing what had happened, which had been really tough for their local community. Based on the evidence, it looks like the couple had a tragic accident. Most likely, they fell into a big crack in the glacier when the weather was really bad. It's a sad story, but at least now, their children have found closure after so many years. 19. Ancient skis. Contrary to what many people might think, skiing isn't a modern pastime. In fact, it's been around for ages, dating back to ancient times as one of the oldest forms of leisure. Now, let's dive into a fascinating story that unfolded in 2014, thanks to a group called Secrets of the Ice, which focuses on glacier archaeology. They stumbled upon something truly remarkable in the Diggervarden ice patch, nestled in Norway's Reinheimen National Park. They found a single ski, which wasn't your average ski. It was ancient, like really ancient. Surprisingly, it was incredibly well preserved, still holding its original binding where the skier's foot would snugly fit. These dedicated researchers watched and waited for 7 long years as they hoped the ice would melt and reveal the missing twin to this ancient ski. Their patience finally paid off in September 2021, exactly 7 years after their discovery. The second ski emerged just 16 feet from where the first one had been found. Both skis, mind you, are even older than the Viking Age. They shared some common features, like their wide design and raised foothold, and the binding on the newly uncovered ski was still intact. The second ski, a bit longer and wider than the first, likely got better preserved because it was buried deeper in the ice. The big question on everyone's minds is, who did these skis belong to? Well, the answer isn't crystal clear, but experts have some intriguing theories. These skis might have been used by hunters, travelers, or perhaps a mix of both. 18. Fiona, the pregnant ichthyosaur. In a truly astonishing discovery, researchers stumbled upon the fossilized remains of a gigantic 13-foot-long pregnant ichthyosaur down in Chile. This remarkable find marks the very first complete ichthyosaur ever unearthed in the country. They named this ancient sea creature Fiona, and her remains were uncovered deep within Patagonia's melting glacier. Fiona, who lived a staggering 139 million years ago, was carrying several tiny embryos in her belly, a clear sign of her pregnancy. Back in her time, ichthyosaurs ruled the seas as highly successful marine reptiles, but they disappeared about 90 million years ago. They had a fishy appearance, sort of like modern-day dolphins, and surprisingly, they were around even before the first dinosaurs showed up. The quest to uncover Fiona's secrets took place during March and April of 2022, deep within the challenging Tyndall Glacier. Getting to the glacier's remote location was no walk in the park. It required a strenuous 10-hour hike, making the collection of this unique specimen an especially tough task. The entire expedition lasted for a grueling 31 days, and the researchers described it as one heck of a challenge. Fiona is undoubtedly a groundbreaking discovery, as she's the only pregnant female ever found and extracted from the Earth's archives, dating back between 129 and 139 million years ago. Alongside Fiona, The research team uncovered a whopping 23 other new ichthyosaur specimens during this epic adventure. This solidified Tyndall Glacier's reputation as the ultimate ichthyosaur graveyard, boasting the highest number of these prehistoric marine creatures anywhere in the world. This incredible discovery has rocked the scientific community and left everyone in awe of what lies hidden beneath the icy world of Patagonia. 17. Sasha, the woolly rhino. You might think of woolly mammoths as the kings of the Ice Age, but there's another cool character from that time, the woolly rhinoceros. This chill creature often shows up in ancient cave paintings from way back in the Ice Age. We're used to finding bits and pieces of woolly rhinos, but coming across a whole one is a big deal. That's what happened back in 2014 when they found a woolly rhino calf perfectly preserved in the frozen ground way out in Siberia. They weren't sure if it was a boy or a girl, so they just called it Sasha, after the person who found it, Alexander Sasha Bandorov. When they checked Sasha's teeth, they figured out it was about 7 months old when it met its end. Now here's the crazy part. At 7 months old, Sasha was already bigger than today's African rhinos. Sasha measured almost 5 feet long and stood around 2.5 feet tall. African rhinos don't hit that size until they're about 18 months old. At first, they thought Sasha was around 10,000 years old, but after a close examination, scientists found out it was way older, 34,000 years old. 16. Very old seeds. It's usually a tough job when it comes to bringing back frozen creatures stuck in ice. But our next discovery breaks the mold, and it's pretty mind-blowing. Back in 2012, a group of researchers digging in Siberia found seeds from the last ice age. These seeds belonged to a flowering plant called Silene stenophila. They were hidden 120 feet under the Siberian permafrost. The scientists stumbled upon this incredible find while checking out ancient squirrel burrows. Thanks to those squirrels' expert digging skills, the fruits and seeds were kept safe from the weather. Fast forward 5 years, and the scientists had a breakthrough. They managed to take some tissue from the not yet ripe fruit and grow Silene stenophila plants successfully. These plants didn't just grow flowers, they also turned out to be fertile, as the researchers wrote in their study. What's even more fascinating is that these old plants looked a lot like their modern counterparts still hanging out in Siberia today. To this day, we're still scratching our heads over how these seeds survived for so long. 15. Lyuba. Besides the baby woolly rhino we talked about earlier, let's introduce you to another super cool prehistoric baby animal. This little buddy is a baby mammoth named Lyuba, and she's estimated to have lived in what's now Russia around 41,800 years ago. But here's the crazy part. Lyuba's discovery was a total accident. So in 2007, there was this guy named Yuri Kuti. He was just a regular reindeer herder in Siberia. One day, as the icy frost was melting away on the banks of the Uri Bay River, Yuri stumbled upon something incredible. It was Lyuba, the baby mammoth. But here's the bummer. When Yuri went back with some scientists to get her, she was gone. Yep, someone else got to her first. But don't worry, the team didn't give up that easily. They went on this epic adventure to find her in a remote Siberian village. And guess where they found her? Propped up outside a shop. The shopkeeper got Lyuba by trading 2 snowmobiles and a year's worth of food from Yuri's cousin. Crazy, right? But here's the not-so-great part of the story. While she was on display, a dog decided to snack on her tail and ear. Ouch! She would have been in tip-top shape if it weren't for that unfortunate incident. But don't be sad, because Lyuba is still one of the best-preserved mammoth mummies ever found. Even though she was just a baby, Lyuba's condition is seriously mind-blowing. Her skin and insides are still intact. And get this, scientists even found traces of her mom's milk in her belly. It's believed that Lyuba met her end by getting stuck in the deep mud of a riverbed, suffocating as she tried to cross with her herd. Even though she only lived for about 30 to 35 days, this little cutie has given us some super important information about her species. 14. Bronze Age food box. In 2012, archaeologists stumbled upon a fascinating discovery that rocked the world. High up in the Swiss Alps, nestled in a towering elevation of nearly 8,800 feet, called the Leuchberg Pass, they uncovered fragments from the life of a Bronze Age mountaineer who lived 4,000 years ago. These remnants included a bow, arrows, and a wooden food container. The story began in 2011, when a cabin's guardian noticed some objects peeking out from beneath the snow near the pass. Realizing the potential significance of this find, the guardian wasted no time in alerting archaeologists. This set off a chain of thrilling discoveries concerning the ancient bow, arrows, wooden food containers, and other accompanying items. These artifacts are thought to have been the tools of hunters or animal herders who sought refuge in the area during the Bronze Age. What's truly astonishing is that tests on the wooden food container unveiled traces of ground flour, a mixture of grains like wheat, rye, barley, and smelt. Some experts speculate that this container might have been used to carry dry flour, which could later be mixed with water or milk for a meal. Even though the Leuchberg Pass has yielded relics from the Roman era and the Middle Ages in the past, these finds stand as the oldest ever discovered in this region. They provide us with priceless glimpses into the ancient history of this breathtaking area. 13. Relics from the White War. During the First World War, a lesser-known cold conflict unfolded. It was called the Guerra Bianca, or White War, where Italian and Austro-Hungarian soldiers found themselves locked in intense battles at altitudes reaching a bone-chilling 12,000 feet. They faced temperatures as low as minus 30 degrees Celsius and had to endure blizzards. These brave soldiers fought each other and battled the harsh elements, hauling supplies, munitions, and even heavy artillery using ropes and pulleys. This relentless struggle played out along the frontier from Trentino to the Adriatic for a grueling 3 years. Surprisingly, more soldiers lost their lives to avalanches, falls from mountains, or hypothermia than in direct combat. Fast forward a century to 2014, and the warming world started to reveal its icy secrets. As the ice melted away, relics from the past emerged from their frozen tombs. The discoveries included a wide range of items like coins, lanterns, canned foods, bottles, clothes, letters, straw beds, and animal bones. Over the past 10 years, dozens of soldiers' bodies, some still dressed in their uniforms, have surfaced from the melting ice. They stand as silent witnesses to the challenging events of that bygone era. Imagine these soldiers back in the day, trudging through the snow and facing those bone-chilling temperatures, all while carrying supplies and fighting for their countries. Their stories are not just about the battles they fought, but also the unforgiving natural elements they had to contend with. And now, as the ice world slowly gives up its secrets, we get a glimpse into their lives through the artifacts and remains that have been preserved for a century. It's a fascinating journey through history, one that reminds us of the sacrifices made by those who braved the White War. 12. Viking-era mitten. Discovering ancient clothing artifacts is rare because fabric tends to break down over time. So, when archaeologists stumbled upon a hand-woven Viking mitten in the melting ice of the Norwegian mountains, it caused a lot of excitement in the scientific community. This incredible find happened in a place called Lendbreen, a high pass nestled in the Norwegian mountains. Lendbreen has been a crossing point for travelers since the time of the Romans, all the way up to the late medieval period. But nowadays, global warming has caused the ice in these mountains to melt faster, revealing new artifacts on the surface. Now, let's dive into this left-handed mitten from the Viking era dating back to the 9th century. It's believed that the owner probably lost it while crossing the mountain ridge. What makes this mitten truly special is how unique it is. No other Viking mittens like it have ever been found anywhere else. This mitten was put together using several pieces of hand-woven fabric. The inner lining is made of a gray felt-like material, and you can still see it through the fabric on the outer surface of the mitten, even though it's partially falling apart due to its age. This mitten is a glimpse into the past, a window into the life of a Viking who once roamed these mountains. Imagine the stories it could tell if it could talk. But this discovery also raises questions. How did this mitten end up here? Was its owner in a hurry? Did they face some unexpected challenges while crossing the mountains? And why is it the only one of its kind ever found? These are the mysteries that keep archaeologists busy and capture the imaginations of history buffs around the world. In the end, the left-handed Viking mitten found in the melting ice of Lendbreen is not just an artifact. It's a piece of history that has the power to transport us back in time and make us wonder about the people who once called this icy world their home. 11. The underground volcano. When you think of volcanic eruptions, you probably picture hot lava and gases bursting into the sky. But guess what? A group of scientists made an incredible discovery that left the world stunned. They found a volcano quietly smoldering beneath a massive layer of ice down in Antarctica. This is a game changer because it's the first time we've spotted an active volcano hiding under all that ice. Now, there are some volcanoes, like Mount Erebus, poking their heads out of the Antarctic ice, but nobody knew about these hidden ones until now. So what's the big deal? Well, when this volcano decides to blow its top, it's going to create a ton of water under the ice. But here's where it gets really interesting. The heat from the volcano could actually speed up the melting at the bottom of the glacier. That melted water acts like a slippery slide, making the ice above it move faster and flow into the sea. So, what's the consequence? Well, there's a chance that this could cause the sea levels to creep up just a bit globally. In a nutshell, hidden under all that ice in Antarctica, there's a volcano waiting to make waves. When it finally erupts, it will release a whole bunch of water, which might lead to a small rise in sea levels. 10. Ötzi the Iceman. Back in September of 1991, a German tourist named Helmut Simon had a jaw-dropping moment in the Similon Glacier of the Ostal Alps, right near the border of Italy and Austria. He stumbled upon something truly extraordinary. The mummified remains of a man who would later become world-famous as Ötzi, or the Iceman. Ötzi was found in the icy wilderness, wearing just one shoe, and that's not even the most surprising part. Many of his personal items were discovered nearby. But the real shocker? Ötzi wasn't a recent fellow. He dated all the way back to around 3,300 BCE, which makes him older than the famous Egyptian pyramids. When he met his unfortunate end, Ötzi was estimated to be somewhere between 25 and 35 years old. At first, folks believed that poor Ötzi had succumbed to the brutal conditions of the Alps, freezing to death due to the bone-chilling cold or maybe just plain exhaustion. But here's where things get twisty. Researchers dug deeper into Ötzi's remains and unearthed even more fascinating details. While they initially thought he was disease-free, it turns out he had a case of whipworm infestation and some signs of arthritis in his body. Strange as it may seem, these health issues weren't what did him in. In the year 2001, an X-ray examination uncovered a surprise that no one saw coming. An arrowhead lodged in Ötzi's left shoulder, a telltale sign that he had been shot and bled to death. And wait, there's more. Ötzi's remaining scalp hairs offered a glimpse into the ancient art of haircutting. Yes, you heard that right. Folks from way back when had their own grooming practices, but that's not the end of the surprises. Ötzi's weathered skin revealed something intriguing: short blue lines. These could either be the world's oldest tattoos or perhaps scars from some ancient therapeutic procedures. Imagine tattoos back then. Ötzi is still getting plenty of attention, but it's not from curious tourists. Nope. He's under the watchful care of researchers at the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology in Bolzano, Italy. To ensure his well-preserved body stays, well-preserved, they've gone to great lengths. They've built a custom-made cold chamber that keeps the temperature a frosty minus 21.2 degrees Fahrenheit. In this controlled environment, Ötzi's extraordinary remains are getting VIP treatment, making sure they last for years to come. 9. Ancient forest. When we picture discoveries frozen in time, our minds often jump to images of valuable artifacts and treasures hidden beneath the icy layers. However, what we're about to unveil goes beyond gold and jewels. It's a story that takes us back millions of years and reminds us of the captivating mysteries our planet still keeps close to its icy heart. A team of intrepid researchers stumbled upon something truly remarkable: the remains of ancient forests that thrived in what we now know as Antarctica about 90 million years ago. You heard that right. Antarctica, the frozen wasteland we envision today, was once home to a lush and swampy rainforest teeming with various plant and animal life. Their discovery centered on well-preserved roots found within a sediment core collected near the Pine Island Glacier. This sediment layer stood out like a beacon, with its unique coloring setting it apart from the layers above it. The researchers used CT scans to delve deep into this time capsule, and what they found left them awestruck. They unearthed traces of pollen spores and the remnants of flowering plants, complete with intact cell structures. These findings were like puzzle pieces that helped paint a picture of the past. But that's not all. Their analysis unveiled more clues about this prehistoric paradise. It hinted at heavy rainfall, an average air temperature of around 54 degrees Fahrenheit, and a toasty summer temperature of 66 degrees Fahrenheit during that era. With these breadcrumbs of evidence, researchers pieced together a vivid image of a lush and swampy rainforest adorned with conifers and tree ferns along the coastal areas of West Antarctica. To give you a peek into this lost world, artists have conjured up renditions of what this ancient forest might have looked like around 90 million years ago. But amidst all this wonder, a significant question still looms: what turned this lush paradise into the icy realm we know today? Researchers are on a relentless quest to find an answer, leaving this chilling enigma still waiting to be fully unraveled. 8. The treasure. In 2013, a French climber experienced something astonishing during his icy expedition. He was trekking across a frozen landscape when he stumbled upon a hidden treasure chest out of the blue. As he made his way up a glacier near Mont Blanc, the intrepid climber stumbled upon a genuine trove of emeralds, rubies, and sapphires, all snugly tucked inside a metal box that had been concealed for decades. What is the sheer worth of these precious jewels? A staggering 246,000 euros. But what's the incredible story behind this astonishing discovery, you ask? Well, it's tied to the tragic history of not one but two Air India planes that met their fate on Mont Blanc. The first heart-wrenching crash took place in 1950, claiming the lives of 48 people. Then, 16 years later, in 1966, another flight operated by India's national carrier suffered a similar fate. It was carrying 117 souls this time when it collided with the mountain. Experts strongly believe that the valuable gemstones most likely came from this ill-fated 1966 flight en route from Mumbai to New York. Let's talk about our brave climber who stumbled upon this treasure trove. Without a second thought, he turned over the box of priceless gemstones to the local authorities, showcasing his unwavering integrity. In return, he was rightfully rewarded with half of the treasure, which consisted of hundreds of invaluable gemstones. As for the other half, it remained with the local authorities, as their efforts to locate the original owner's family in India sadly yielded no results. 7. The ancient tunic. Take a good look at this woven woolen tunic we've got here. It's a real blast from the past, dating all the way back to around 300 AD, during the late Iron Age. Now, this tunic is special because it's the oldest complete piece of clothing ever found in Norway. So how did we stumble upon this ancient garment? It was in quite a pickle, crumpled up near the top of the Lenbreen ice patch in 2011. This loose-fitting outerwear has a greenish-brown tint and is meant for folks who are about 5 feet and 9 inches tall. But here's the kicker. It's got patches all over it like it's been through a bunch of makeovers. That tells us the person who owned it might not have been its first owner. Now, our trusty archaeologists over at Secrets of the Ice think this tunic is used to keep a reindeer hunter cozy. They probably paired it up with a waterproof layer to stay dry while hunting. What's fascinating is that only a handful of these kinds of tunics are left in Europe. Talk about a rare find. But here's the real head-scratcher. Why in the world would someone just leave a warm tunic by a glacier? One theory is that the owner might have found themselves in a tight spot during a snowstorm. When people get too cold, they can start feeling all mixed up, even thinking they're overheating. So they might take off their clothes, like this tunic, by mistake. This ancient tunic doesn't just give us a peek into the past. It's like a time machine that shows us the challenges folks faced way back when in these icy lands. It's a real eye-opener, isn't it? 6. The buried mountains. Deep within the heart of eastern Antarctica, you'll find the Gamburtsev Mountains, a range hidden beneath a massive 1,970-foot thick layer of Antarctic ice. These mountains stretch for about 200 kilometers and rise impressively to heights of around 2,700 meters. It's fascinating to note that the Gamburtsev Mountains are similar in size to the famous European Alps. The tale of these subglacial mountains dates back to 1958, when Russian explorers stumbled upon something unusual: strange gravity fluctuations coming from under the ice. To honor the Soviet geophysicist Gregory Gamburtsev, these mysterious mountains were named after him. However, despite some limited surveys in the 1970s, the true size and shape of the Gamburtsev Mountains remained largely a mystery. But hold on to your hats, because in the years 2007 to 2009, scientists embarked on a thorough investigation, and what they uncovered was nothing short of mind-boggling. These mountains, it turns out, have been around for almost 1 billion years. That's right, nearly 1 billion years of existence hidden beneath the ice in one of the most enigmatic mountain ranges on Earth. Scientists can't get enough of the mysteries these mountains hold. 5. The 57,000-year-old wolf pup. In the summer of 2016, a gold miner stumbled upon something truly extraordinary up in Canada's Yukon Territory. While he was digging for precious metals, using a water cannon to blast away stubborn frozen mud, he had no idea he was about to unearth a treasure that would leave paleontologists around the world buzzing with excitement. What he found was a nearly perfectly preserved 57,000-year-old baby gray wolf, and this remarkable discovery was about to shock the world. This little wolf pup, a female, was unintentionally named Jur by the Trondek Wetjen community, the locals who considered this land their ancestral home. Jur, which means wolf in their language, became the moniker for the most complete wolf mummy ever found. When they stumbled upon Jur, only her eyes were missing, making her a true marvel of preservation. She had been cradled in the permafrost for millennia, keeping her body remarkably intact. Jur's incredible preservation gave scientists an unparalleled peek into her ancient life. Through X-ray analysis, they estimated that she was a mere 6 or 7 weeks old when she met her fate. And what's even more fascinating is that her teeth, examined through geochemical analysis, told a unique story about her diet. Unlike today's wolves, Jur's menu consisted mainly of fish and aquatic critters rather than the larger land mammals like caribou or bison. Surprisingly, Jur was found to be in pretty good health, which ruled out the possibility of her falling prey to starvation or predator attacks. Instead, it's believed that her tragic end came when her den unexpectedly caved in, burying her in sandy earth. Despite this untimely demise, Jur has turned out to be a priceless time capsule, offering us valuable insights into the lives of wolves from thousands of years ago. 4. Sparta, the lion cub. In this amazing discovery, we've got a little cave lion cub named Sparta. At first glance, Sparta might look like it's just taking a long nap, but here's the jaw-dropping twist. This cub actually passed away a whopping 28,000 years ago. Picture this, Sparta, with her golden fur all tangled up in mud but miraculously preserved overall. We're talking teeth, skin, soft tissues, and even those tiny whiskers, all perfectly intact. Sparta is just one of 2 baby cave lions dug up in 2017 and 2018. Can you believe it? They stumbled upon these little treasures while hunting for mammoth tusks along the Semyul-Yak River in Russia's Far East. Now, back when Sparta met her unfortunate end, she was barely 2 months old. But here's the real mystery. No one knows exactly why she died. Scientists ruled out predators, but they found some clues when they took a closer look with scans. There was some damage to her skull. Her ribs were out of place and her bones were all messed up. With everything preserved so well, the best guess is that she must have been buried super quickly. But how did that happen? A few ideas are floating around. Maybe it was a massive mudslide, or perhaps Sparta crashed into a permafrost crack. These cave lions like Sparta used to roam all over the place, from Europe to Alaska. Sadly, they're extinct now. But get this, they're pretty close relatives to the lions we know today. What did these ancient kitties eat? They were into some big game hunting, feasting on horses, deer, reindeer, bison, and even young or old mammoths. But the real question is, why did they disappear? We're still scratching our heads on that one, but here's a theory. Maybe those cave bears had something to do with it. Yep, they might have been part of the reason these cave lions faded away. 3. The 3 Incan children. In 1999, a group of archaeologists stumbled upon a truly unsettling discovery high up on Mount Lulayaco, right on the border of Argentina and Chile. What they found up there, buried in the icy tomb at the mountain's peak, was not just 1, but 3 young children. It's a story that will send shivers down your spine. These unfortunate kids had met a tragic end, frozen to death inside a tiny chamber. Little did they know that, unwittingly, they would become the best preserved ice mummies ever found in history. The experts suspected that they were sacrificed by the Inca civilization about half a millennium ago. Among these young souls were a young boy and a girl, both around 6 years old when they met their untimely demise. The third was a teenage girl named La Donella, or the Maiden. Studies conducted later on, these ice-entombed youngsters unveiled some eerie details. The children had been fed a special diet leading up to their sacrifice, consisting of coca leaves and a corn beer called chicha. What's even more chilling is that in the weeks before their deaths, their consumption of these substances had increased, suggesting they might have been deliberately kept in an altered state of mind. This startling discovery provides us with a somber glimpse into a dark chapter of human history. The incredibly well-preserved remains of these sacrificial victims stand as a haunting reminder of just how far people were willing to go in the name of religion and to appease their deities. 2. Ancient viruses. Have you ever thought about viruses? Those tiny troublemakers that can mess up our health in all sorts of ways? Well, brace yourself, because it seems like we might have a whole new puzzle to solve. Back in 2015, a group of scientists from Ohio State University set out on a mission to the frozen wonderland of the Tibetan Plateau. Their goal? To dig up ancient ice samples and learn some incredible secrets about the environment from ages past. Armed with a fresh technique that let them study the ice without messing it up, they were itching to get their hands on some valuable insights. Climbing their way up to the top of the Gulia ice cap, which sits a whopping 22,000 feet above the sea, these researchers pulled out a core that went down over 1,000 feet deep. And guess what they found down there? Viruses. Not just a few, but a whole bunch of them, chilling in the ice for a whopping 15,000 years. Now get ready for the shocker. These scientists stumbled upon the genetic material of 33 different virus types in that single ice core. And here's the kicker. 28 of them were complete mysteries to science. Can you believe that? Before you start panicking about a viral apocalypse, don't worry. The Ohio team thinks these germs aren't going to cause us any trouble. But here's the twist. Tons of other viruses are still frozen in ice. And as global warming cranks up the heat, those ancient baddies that were harmless in their icy sleep might wake up and start causing havoc in the modern world. Viruses, the tiny terrors, emerge from their frozen prisons and enter our world. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this isn't fiction. It's a real concern. You see, as our planet heats up, glaciers are melting faster than ever before. That means the potential for these ancient viruses to resurface is increasing. We're talking about pathogens that have been dormant for thousands of years, suddenly finding themselves in a world they've never seen before. It's like waking up from a really, really long nap and not recognizing the place. We're not saying the ice world is about to unleash a viral apocalypse on us, but it's a reminder that our actions and the way we're changing the planet can have some unexpected consequences. So while the scientists aren't sounding the alarm yet, they're keeping a close eye on what's happening deep within the ice. Who knows what other surprises the frozen world might have in store for us? 1. Amphipods. Can you believe what scientists stumbled upon in the icy realm of Antarctica? It was 2022 when a group of researchers from New Zealand set out to study a river hundreds of kilometers away from the edge of the Ross Ice Shelf. Little did they know, they were about to make a jaw-dropping discovery lurking 1,600 feet below the icy surface, swarms of crab-like creatures. The journey began with these intrepid scientists drilling through the thick ice, determined to reach the mysterious river below. As they carefully lowered their camera into the frigid waters, they were in for a lifetime surprise. Instantly, the camera was surrounded by an army of tiny amphipods, these curious little critters resembling a mix of crabs, mites, and lobsters, each no larger than 5 millimeters. Their initial reaction was one of disbelief. They couldn't fathom what they were witnessing. They wondered if something was wrong with the camera, but as they adjusted the focus, it became crystal clear. They had stumbled upon a hidden world, thriving with life, right beneath the icy expanse. You see, scientists had long been aware of the existence of freshwater lakes and rivers beneath the vast Antarctic ice sheets. However, this moment marked the first time anyone had a direct glimpse into one of these concealed waterways and its remarkable diversity of wildlife. This extraordinary revelation showcases life's incredible resilience in the harshest of environments and emphasizes the critical need for further exploration and in-depth study in these remote corners of our planet.